All right, good morning. So, something cool is out today. This is Dane Brugler's 7 round mock draft up on The Athletic. It is intensive. We'll put it that way. It is very, very thorough because you go pick one through however many picks there are. There are 262 last year, and obviously Brock Purdy was that last one for the 49ers. Anyway, this is Dane. Dane, obviously, if you haven't heard Dane, this is the guy that is the draft expert, I think, of all draft experts. He writes The Beast for The Athletic, which is a prospect guide that includes probably thousands of names and there are thousands of scouting reports. Dane does a great job there. And then this is his 7 round mock draft. It's up on The Athletic. We have the 49ers reaction to that mock draft right here. This is by Matt Barrows and me, and we go through the 11 picks that Dane made for the 49ers. No trades in this draft. That would make it a little bit more complicated. Every team simply picks where they're slotted to pick. But Dane put together quite the class for the 49ers, an interesting one for sure. I'm going to copy and paste the link for this and stick it into the chat section for you. And then we're going to take a look at the 49ers draft class, have a little bit of a discussion. Maybe you could talk about it in the comment section. But go ahead, head over there into that comment section or the chat section. You can check out the link. This is the link to the reaction from me and Matt. Anyway, here is the piece. Let's get this back up on the screen. No, it's a little bit earlier in the morning today. Hopefully, those of you on the East Coast have a chance to do something before work as far as watching a show live. And we can talk. Here is what the draft class looks like from Dane Brugler. Byron Young, the edge rusher out of Tennessee, where I'm at right now, actually. Not in Knoxville, but in Nashville. First to the 49ers, pick number 99, Corey Trice, a corner. Marte Mapu and Cameron Latu, the third and the fourth picks here for the 49ers. Both players who have paid top 30 visits to the team. Mapu is a hybrid linebacker safety, so, kind of cut from the Fred Warner cloth. A lot of people have said they see similarities. And Latu, the tight end out of Alabama. Another swing for the 49ers potentially at pairing a tight end 2 with George Kittle. They've tried that multiple times in the past few years. Nobody's really stuck as a fixture opposite George Kittle. I know Ross Dwelly's been on several one-year contracts. I think 6 one-year contracts now with the 49ers. But they would certainly want somebody who's, has a little bit more staying power, probably a little bit better in the receiving and blocking games, and that would be the swing with Cameron Latu. Then moving on into the middle of the 5th round, Demario Douglas, receiver out of Liberty. Warren McClendon, a tackle out of Georgia, tackle prospect for the 49ers. You have Chad Ryland, surprising name there at kicker in the 6th round. Somebody maybe the 49ers could pair with Zane Gonzalez instead of one of the higher 3rd or 4th round kickers, who would probably just be, a single kicker solution, which would be riskier for the 49ers. You wouldn't keep 2 kickers in that regard throughout the regular season. But here, maybe you could have a practice squatter plus Zane Gonzalez. Dante Stills, defensive tackle out of West Virginia in the 7th round. Ty Okada, safety out of Montana State. Arquan Bush, corner out of Cincinnati. And rounding out the draft, Justin Shorter, receiver out of Florida. To me, I'll just talk a little bit about the top guys in this draft. You look at the edge rusher, Byron Young. He's a D Ford like athlete. This is an explosive athlete coming off the edge. I don't know if he has the same get off as D Ford as far as reaction time, but his burst, his 40 time, this is a 4.5 kind of guy. This is a guy who's built at around that 250-pound weight. This is a twitch athlete coming off the edge. The 49ers would obviously be looking to develop into that speed rushing complement to Nick Bosa. And, the questions about Byron Young relate to how he's going to play the run. Is he going to get swallowed up if he's doing something that's not his strength? And is his get off really elite enough? Because that's more a little about reaction time and reading when the offense may be snapping the ball. Is it elite enough to warrant a 1st or 2nd round pick? And right now, a lot of people, including Dane Brugler, have Byron Young dropping to the lower 3rd round, in which case I think the 49ers would be very happy to take a developmental flyer on him because he is that skill set, right? That athletic skill set that they would like to pair with somebody like Nick Bosa. Moving on to Corey Trice out of Purdue, the corner. He reminds a lot of people of Richard Sherman as far as being 6'3" and a really good athlete, but maybe not with the type of burst and top end speed. Well, maybe I should focus more on the top end speed that a first or second round cornerback does have. And that was the case with Richard Sherman, right? That's why he slipped all the way down to the 5th round. People were saying, oh, well, this is 4.5 speed. We'd rather see somebody at 4.4, maybe 4.3, 4.4, of course, probably more realistic. But Sherman technically played such sound football that he made up for not being one of the 4.3 corners. And he had that explosion even at that height that, I think really made him a menace. Well, Corey Trice, he's got some explosion and he's really, really good tackler. And that's really important in the 49ers scheme. So I could see why Dane picked him. I talked about Marte Mapu and Cameron Latu. Marte Mapu, being a safety at Sac State, he tore his pectoral muscle about a month ago. So that might be something to flag to look out for. But Mapu is cut out from the cloth of a typical 49ers linebacker in that he's played DB before. So many of these 49ers linebackers, from Warner to Demetrius Flanagan Foles, have DB backgrounds. And you look at somebody like Dre Greenlaw, he's the fastest player on Arkansas's defense. So the 49ers are all about speed at linebacker. Mapu's a missile. I made a video about him. You could search for it. Just type in Marte Mapu, David Lombardi, and you'll see some of the tape that we broke down. I did the same thing with Cameron Latu, that first 5th round pick for the 49ers. He's not particularly fast, Latu, 4.8. He's not a 4.5 like George Kittle, but they do need that second tight end to pair with Kittle, and I don't think they need a burner for that position. They just picked up Chris Conley yesterday, who's one of the best athletes in the NFL, 45-inch vertical leap, best in NFL combine history, but he's 30 years old. But I this is a side note, but it might have something to do with what we're talking about here. Chris Conley, he's been in the league for several years, hasn't really panned out relative to, what you might expect that athleticism to bring. But if anybody could get something out of him, it's Kyle Shanahan. Maybe he's the best deep threat on the 49ers roster right now. Then you pair what the 49ers already have and this draft class that we saw from Dane Brugler with something like that, and Chris Conley's your 4th, 5th wide receiver. Maybe he does make the team. And that's how we have to view these draft classes. All these mock drafts that are being projected to the 49ers, we have to view them within the context of the larger 90-man roster, the acquisitions the 49ers have made this offseason, to see what type of team the 49ers ultimately field. Anyway, our mock draft reaction is right here. That's a picture of Byron Young out of Tennessee. You could see that's a really athletic frame. That's 250 pounds right there. It's not your defensive lineman from the 1990s. That's somebody that can roar around the edge in the 49ers. Maybe he does fall to number 99, and maybe the 49ers do pick him. So be sure to check it out. Our reaction to Dane Brugler's mock draft. The link is in the description. It is in the chat section, and I will put it at the top of the comments section. Only about $2 a month for the Athletic right now. So I think it's worth it. And I'm up early for those of you on the East Coast, so you can make sure that you click and check that out. All right, everybody take care. Have a great Tuesday. More travels coming up for me today, so stay tuned. They're going to be on the channel. More 49ers info on the channel as well. Take care.